The issue of BRICS and what it means to the DBSA or South Africa and the African continent, the way we look at it is as follows. This particular initiative was taken by the leaders of these countries, and where we're coming from as a development bank, really we are looking at this as a positioning of these nations to support each other with institutional, financial and other trade mechanisms to achieve development in their own nations. Yes, naturally, because this is at a political leadership level, there would be considerations regarding political dynamics across the globe. But as an institution, that is not where our focus is. Our focus is on what kind of mechanisms, as a designated institution, the DBSA, what kind of mechanisms, institutional mechanisms, can we establish between ourselves and our colleagues in Brazil, in Russia, in India and China in order to address development and social issues. And to that extent, what has come out of, for instance, out of the Durban summit is these two agreements that have been signed by ourselves and our colleagues. The first agreement being around cooperation for infrastructure finance in Africa, and that is the key issue, Africa, not just South Africa. And then the second one being cooperating around sustainable development initiatives. The first one is pretty much straightforward. It's about saying to vendors, for instance, or China Development Bank, to say, where are your appetite levels and areas in the continent, and can we jointly work together to finance a massive port in Tanzania, or an airport upgrade in the DRC, or a significant water treatment works in Ethiopia. Those are practical level cooperation arrangements that we are looking for under this. It will be undertaken at a bilateral level. In other words, DBSA engaging with one bank, DBSA engaging with the other, not as a collective, because there are differences in appetites and differences in strategic outlook by these partner banks to the continent. And so we believe the solutions are better framed on a bilateral basis. The one on sustainable development really has to do with addressing matters of climate change, matters of energy efficiency, and all those areas of sustainable development, in a sense of undertaking development in a manner that it doesn't degrade the world. You know, the much talked about a balance between people, the planet, and the profits, and that is what this framework is intended to do. The details thereof are not just around financing, but they are around policy issues. For instance, we know our colleagues in Brazil have gone far down the line, more than us, in terms of financing and promoting wind technologies and wind energy. We are only just beginning as a country to do that. So what can we learn from them? That is an element of this particular agreement that we have. So that's how we see it. Regarding the creation of institutional mechanisms, I'm really hoping that the bank, as contemplated, will come to realization. The challenge, as I said during the session, was how we create the institutional framework in such a manner that it is complementary to what the countries individually, as BRICS, as well as the rest of the developing world, are doing. I think if we fail to find complementarity in the design of the BRICS bank, we run the risk of alienation and so on and so on. So I hope that can be overcome. Of course, the next thing is the actual capitalization of the bank. For it to have significance, it will have to be at scale. And I know that our colleagues in the treasuries of the various nations are applying their minds to to the capitalization of the banks.